Okay, I'm not going to remember to look right at the camera. Anyway, hola. Um, my name is Amanda. I feel like I have not introduced myself a single time in any of my videos. My name is Amanda. And I've just been thinking a lot today about, just like being a black sheep in your family. And I think I want to talk about it, you know? Let me turn this off so that it doesn't distract me. So, since about 2019, I've gone no contact with my maternal side of my family. The last time I saw them, it was for a funeral for my mother's identical twin sister. It was devastating. But even when I was there, I felt very uncomfortable being around them. It was fine. I internalized it. I was pregnant at the time, so I was trying really hard not to stress myself out. And even before I went to that funeral, I spoke to my mother-in-law because she just knows. She's just so wise. And so I was like, is it bad luck to go to a funeral when you're pregnant? And she's like, no, just make sure that you protect yourself. And I think I was like 7 months pregnant. Anyway, it was an event that I really just wanted to get through. The simple fact that I only went for my titi, for my titi, my aunt, that who passed away. I love her. I have always loved her. She was always kind to me. Always, always. Which is a very large contrast from the way that my own mother treated me. My mother never treated me kindly. She glared at me most of the time. She put me down, or, just all of those things. So when we walked into the funeral, I see my mother. I gave everybody else a hug and greeted everybody else. I kind of just walked just right around her. It was very weird. And then she kind of did this okay. So my mom is kind of like a narcissist. When it's just me and her, she's just mean and nasty. But when we're in front of our other relatives, including like her own siblings, she pretends as though she's so sweet and so nice and so thoughtful to me. That's not the case. So my husband was with me. And at one point she decided to like do a whole scene to like look like the better person in front of my husband, and I thought it was just disgusting. Anyway, I decided to just like push it under the rug for the rest of the time that we had to be around each other, because we started at the funeral venue and then we ended up going to a family member's house to just chat and eat food and just be communal. And I just hated every second of it. I did enjoy seeing some of my cousins and stuff and catching up, but for the most part it was something that I had to get through, not something that nobody wants to go to a funeral. But anyway, let me see, where am I going with this? Hold on. Okay, so after the weird display that my mom put on in front of my husband to try and like, I don't know, make him think that she wasn't a bad person or whatever, even though, I mean, he's my husband. He's heard all of the stories, but she doesn't know that. So she's over here trying to, cry and sob and say, I'm so sorry for everything, Amanda. Whatever, dude. Okay, sure. Um, After that, I'm sitting in the car with my husband after, and we're talking, and I'm debating if I even want to go to the second location at the family member's house, and I really had to think about it, and I just decided, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll go. So I get there, and the same woman that was just sobbing and crying, now she's acting weird and distant towards me. Okay? She's like, she kept like walking past me back and forth in the kitchen. And this is a house that we've been in since like 1999. This is a house that we're all familiar with. She kept walking back and forth past me in the kitchen, and I thought that she was going to keep that same energy, right? I should have known better, right? That was a complete performance, but I was like, oh, my mom, she loves me, for 5 minutes, and then we get to the second location, and she's just like not making eye contact with me, not talking to me at all. And I was like, I didn't even say anything to anybody. I didn't even say anything to my husband. I just was like, oh, yeah, I should have saw that coming. Anyway, I'm standing in a circle in the dining room with like my cousins and their significant others and just a bunch of people, just like my cousins and stuff. And we're all just talking, and they're asking me questions about my pregnancy and like, oh, what are you going to name the baby? And, and then my mom pops up again, because I'm the popular one, and she can't let that happen. Everybody wants to ask me questions, and she's like, oh no, now I have to like insert myself and like be the center of attention. So they're like, oh, what are you gonna name the baby? And I told them the name, and my mom, and it's too strong of a word personally for me to use, but I don't have any other word. She flips out and she goes, oh my God. She freaks out and she like tackles me. Like, and the people around me, like I'm 7 months pregnant. Calm down, dude. Like, she like really went crazy. And I'm like looking around, and everybody behind her is like, is she good? Nobody said anything, but they were just looking at her like, okay, whatever. I was like, okay, so it's not just me that sees this shit, right? Anyway, so she went from perfectly ignoring me when nobody was paying attention to me, just ignoring me when nobody else was talking to me. We were just walking around the house, still just getting situated from the other event. Not event, I'm not gonna call it that, but we're all just like, bringing food in and preparing stuff. She ignored me that whole time. And then the second that people crowded around me and started like asking me questions about my pregnancy, then she was just like, oh, cameras on, lights on, let's make this all about me. And if you were there, you would not even know that the funeral was for her own identical twin sister. What is that? Was that a spider? Okay, sorry. I got distracted. Anyway, you would not even know, because she was just laughing and boisterous. Like, in contrast, my uncle I just remember looking over at him in the funeral, and he was just sitting like in a section of the chairs where there was nobody, and he was just sitting there like, actually grieving. And my mom's just having a fucking party with everybody, and everybody's looking at her weird, and she doesn't even notice it, because she's so weirdo, dude. Anyway, after she tackles me, practically, when I told her the name that I was going to name my son, I just like, I kind of just like, I just wanted to get away from her. And, maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes after that, we were all taking pictures and getting ready to leave and stuff. And I remember her being like, oh, let's take a picture together. I don't have the picture. I might have to ask my husband for it. I think he has it on his phone. Let's take a picture together. And my face, my face in the picture says it all, dude. If I can find it, I'm going to add it. I'm going to add it to this video. But she's just like, and I'm just like, get this woman away from me. After that, I exchanged numbers with her and stuff, because she did not have it before that, and I was feeling a little bit, sentimental. So I gave her my number. I allowed her to have my phone number. And she started contacting me, and it felt very weird because she never talked to me like that before. And so, like, now she's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. And I'm thinking, the only reason why you're proud of me is because I'm no longer a burden to you. And you see maybe, like, dollar signs, and she's trying to get on my good side so that she can benefit from my life. Or like destiny swap or some shit. And I do believe in that. So, she never actually met my firstborn. I talked to her for a little bit on the phone, and then at a certain point, I just had to let her know that this doesn't feel right, and it just feels very staged and fake and phony. And you had so much time to protect me when I was a kid, and you didn't. And now that you don't have to worry about me anymore, now you want to have a relationship with me, that's not going to work for me. That doesn't work for me. And so I told her right out that, like, I don't want you in my life anymore. And this is the last time I'm going to talk to you. And that was it. Did she put up a fight? Of course not. She doesn't care. She never cared. But I really just, oh man. In my next life, I'm going to do a better job at picking my mom for sure, because that one sucked. That, Anyway. And I'm pretty sure you want to know what's even, like, more frigged up is that she lives, like, 2 or 3 miles away. I'm not even kidding. If she still lives where she lived when my younger half sister was pregnant, then she lives like 10 minutes away. And I have no desire to ever see her again. None. And that makes me kind of like sad for my kids because, my mom's side of the family is not the side of the family that I would ever want to introduce my kids to because of the way that they treated me since they met me. I really hope that one day I can be reunited with my real family. Don't be gay. I haven't seen them since, I think it was 2010, 2008 or 2010. I really don't remember. I got to see my grandparents one last time before they passed away, and they had Alzheimer's. My grandmother remembered me right away, which was surprising. My grandpa took a few days. I showed him a picture from a photo album. And I was like, look, that little girl, that's me. And that's you. I was like, that little girl, that's me. Do you remember her? And he was like, oh, baby. And that's what he used to call me when I was a little girl. He goes, oh, baby, I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. And he squeezed me as tight as he could with his little frail body. And he didn't forget the next day he didn't forget me. He knew it was still me. He knew it was still his baby. Anyway, I hope that I can be reunited with my actual family one day. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to the story. It's really shitty to be a black sheep in your family. And if you have any stories, let me know. Let me know. I would love to hear it, you know. I'm probably going to share more stories like this, honestly, just to, like, remember them and to maybe just get them off my friggin' chest. Because it's really shitty to have parents that don't love you. I probably didn't even need to say that because it's, you know, it's fucked up. But yeah, let me know if anybody else out there feels or knows deeply in their heart that they're a black sheep. Let's talk. You know, let's unpack. Let's do the work together. That way we can not feel like there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with me. I just need to believe that. Because when your mom and your dad, both of my parents are still alive. Both of them. Like I said, my mom's like down the road. She just doesn't love me or care. Unless it benefits her in some way. And I haven't seen my dad since 1998 in person. You know? It's not because he doesn't know that I still exist. He just doesn't give a fuck. And that's sad. But I'm strong. So that's good. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm going to start sharing some more stories because, you know, it's time to heal. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Sorry for getting so kind of dramatic. It's not dramatic, it's just my life, but, you know, I think it's important to, like, tell stories sometimes just to, like, heal from your own trauma and maybe to just, like, put a lens on the fact that even, I mean, just anybody can go through things and still figure out a way to succeed regardless of all of that stuff. Thank you for watching, you guys. I really love you guys so much. And thank you for being so kind to me. All right. Hope you have a good night or day or whenever you end up watching this. Love you. Te quiero mucho. Te quiero muchísimo.